I find myself this morning in beautiful sunny San Diego. I'm gonna take you for a tour around the bay, and I'm gonna show you all kinds of cool things that you may not know about that San Diego has to offer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 military boats, all gassing up at the exact same time. Probably some sort of training or something. They got machine guns though, right there in the front. One cool thing that you can always find here in the bay are very friendly seals that just hang out in these things that I don't know what they're called. Boyas in Spanish. Oh, that one's injured. Like it got caught up on a line or something. That sucks. Here you can see one coming up to us. Oh, it went away. It's right beneath us. So this here, right here, is a thing to get live bait. So if you're gonna go fishing in open water over there, you come here, they open up these pockets underneath the deck, the dock there, and they pull out all the live bait, they toss it into your boat, you pay them, and you're set and ready to go. If I'm not mistaken, those SEAL sightseeing tour boats, like that one right there, those right there, they usually, I think they can come out of water. So they actually have tires, they're amphibious. So they can come out of the water and take you sightseeing around the city too. As most people know, San Diego has a massive military presence. I mean, we're literally surrounded by military bases, military shipyards. Here, one of my favorite ones is a submarine station. So this is the area, and sometimes if you're lucky, you see these big giant things that hold the submarine. So these things submerge. They grab the submarine from underwater. It comes back up outside of the ocean so that they can work on the boats. And this is what they do with every boat, right? That's how they repair them. But these things are so huge. And sometimes if you're lucky, you can actually see the back end of the submarine there. Let's see if we can find one right now. See that military boat over there? That one's actually there to protect the military base. So if I get too close, like these guys are, they're just looking at me like, oh, let's take a look at that guy. What is he doing, right? Nothing to be afraid of, guys. I'm making a video to show everybody how cool San Diego is. That's what I'm doing. Don't shoot me. See, there they are. If you see, that's what I was talking about. That big thing right there, if you see behind that black curtain over there, you can see there's a giant freaking propeller. God, I wish I had better zoom. Let me try with my cell phone, see if I can get a better view. All right, see, that's one good thing about Samsung. See? That's a propeller for the submarine that's pulled out. That's sick. You have it. You can actually see the submarine. Dude, it's been years since I see one. Years since the last time I saw one of these. So we're very lucky that it's there right now. Look at that propeller, the size of the thing, and you can tell that thing is stealthy. I would not want to go to war against the US. No. This is the shit they let us see. You can't tell, you lose proportion of the size of that thing, but that thing is freaking gigantic. Anyways, over here on this side, this is open ocean. All the way over there, I don't know if you can see on the video, but all the way over there is Mexico. Like you can see some parts of Mexico from over here. And then if it was a little bit more open and less overcast, over there you would see what's called Coronado Islands. These are islands that belong to Mexico, not the Coronado Island that we know over here. And this here right there is Point Loma. Point Loma is super cool. There's all kinds of things there. Number one, the real estate there is unbelievable. It's beautiful. Some houses have incredible views on both sides of the cliff, right? Because this thing on the opposite end, it's just like a little mini peninsula. On the other side, it's just the ocean. And then on top over there, you have the Cabrillo National Monument. And then in Point Loma, there are some hidden military bunkers. One big thing that everybody knows about Point Loma, I think, is that there's a lighthouse and a cemetery. The cemetery there, I think it's called Fort Rosecrans Cemetery. It's the most scenic cemetery in the entire United States. One thing that's a little bit creepy is that on Rosecrans Boulevard, which is kind of the main street over in Point Loma, there used to be a gravesite, also another burial plot that was used as a cemetery for years and years and years. But then when they decided to build the street, they had to unbury the bodies and move them around and take them somewhere else. But not all the bodies were moved. There was some that were just left there, and the street was built on top of them. People say that in that area, if you're driving around, electronic things glitch. Like you have like some sort of an electrical frequency there that causes electronics to mess up. On the opposite side of the entrance of the bay, it's Coronado. Same thing, massive military presence all over Coronado. It's the Coronado Naval Station, and I think there's also Coast Guard there. Whenever you're cruising around here, you see helicopters, planes, all kinds of things fly out of here. The military base is basically the whole thing, right? It's Point Loma, it's all the way down to basically Chula Vista on the side of Barrio Logan, downtown San Diego, and then you have this area over here, and of course on Silver Strand, which is where the Navy SEALs train. But this part here, something that's really interesting is that there is a series of 4 buildings that were built like 4L shaped, but when seen from above, they look just like a swastika. And nobody had really noticed until Google Earth came along in like 2006 or 7 or something like that, and they started showing it, and people found the image and they were like, what the hell? So obviously it became this huge mess. The military says that it was completely unintentional, but if you look at pictures of it, I mean, it looks just like a swastika. It's still there. They've never like done anything to change it except add some plants and some things to make it less noticeable and less visible. The other thing that they do here that's pretty freaking cool is that they actually have I think it's called like a marine mammal training thing. So they basically train dolphins and seals to do military operations. See? There goes one of the Coast Guard helicopters. That's what I was telling you. All day long, there's helicopters flying in and out of here all day long. But these things are huge. Like all of these are all the bunkers and all the, what do they call them? I gotta get better with my English vocabulary. And my Spanish too, because I can't even think of what it's called in Spanish either. It'll come to me. Military, hangars. I actually know it in English better than Spanish. I don't know what it's called in Spanish. But plane hangars or helicopter hangars, that's all that. Look at the size of that boat that they're pulling out of the water right now at the military base. I brought my drone with me and I wanted to fly it over here and do some aerial shots of the city. I'll probably try over there on the other side, but here with the military base in Coronado, absolutely impossible. A buddy of mine, photographer, videographer that I hired many years ago, back in like 2018, I think, he helped me record some videos, and this guy came over to Imperial Beach and then he decided to come over towards Coronado, and he flew his drone, he says by accident, over the military base where they train for the Navy SEALs and all this stuff. Anyways, they caught him. They caught up to him, they got him, and he was arrested. He got into all heap of trouble. They investigated him for like 6 months. I mean, not to add insult to injury, the guy was Middle Eastern, and he had a big old beard. He looked the part. He ended up having to wear an ankle bracelet for like 6 months because of that. And they were checking him out and making sure, and he was fine. Like, he didn't do anything really bad, but that alone was enough to get him to a whole heap of trouble. So I'm not gonna even try. I don't know what this boat is called. It's the number 71. I'd have to research it. They have these things. Sometimes they extend these protectors. For some reason, they bring them further out. And look, I don't know if you can see, but that's what happens when you either run out of gas or you don't maintain your boat properly. You end up having to get towed. That's a towboat. Behind over there, there's another aircraft carrier. So we got 2 big ass aircraft carriers here. There's another one over there, and of course the Midway, which is over here, but the Midway is not an operation, that's a museum. We'll go check out the Midway later on today. Okay, so I did a little bit of research, and number 71, let me double check if I got the order right. 71 is the Theodore Roosevelt, yep. 71 is the USS Theodore Roosevelt, and number 72, which is the one over there, far away over there. So that's 72, that's the USS Abraham Lincoln, and this is the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Teddy, my kids love Teddy. I don't know why. They're huge fans of Teddy Roosevelt. That's another military boat guard for these boats over here. Like, they're just chilling there all day, making sure that some kamikaze type boat doesn't ram into these things. It's crazy. They're ready to shoot. But look at these houses over here. Can you imagine living right on the frickin' coast of San Diego Bay and being able to have that view every morning, every day, every evening? And you have, I mean, these homes are all 10 million plus, every single one of them. Some of them have little beaches. Like some of them actually have access to the beach from their backyard. Look at all those amazing properties. The only downside to these ones right here is that because there's a lot of tide, like not tide, like waves, I guess you could call them. Wakes. I'm gonna get so good with my vocabulary doing these videos. So because it's a high wake area, like right now, look at this, like these big huge boats go through the bay and create massive wakes. The docks here don't last. They get demolished by the waves and the movement and everything, and they're very expensive. Building a small dock can cost a couple $100,000 because you have to put these big concrete pillars that go all the way to the bottom of the ocean to hold the dock in place, and they need to be very solid, or else they get beat up by the currents and by the, I mean, and just the salt water, right? It's really, really brutal. So Coronado Case, which I'm going to take you to in a little bit, that's a little bit better because it's in the case, like it's all these little pockets. There's absolutely no wakes. Then they last long time, and they're much easier to maintain. Crazy story. You see that little beach right there? That's the ferry landing, right? That's the ferry. It takes people to and from Seaport Village over there and to the ferry landing over here. I've taken it a few times. I used to ride my bike from Chula Vista all the way to the ferry landing, and then take the ferry landing over across to Seaport Village, and then back through National City and to Chula Vista back home. I used to do that years ago. About 30 pounds ago. 30 pounds, maybe no, man, like 40 pounds ago. That was 40 pounds ago that I used to do that. And about 60 pounds ago, Jesus, I can't believe I'm saying that. About 60 pounds ago, when I was about 17 years old, 16, 17, I would water ski, and I'm gonna take you right now to where I used to water ski. My dad, I told him to tow me and to whiplash me or whip me into this beach, because so he brought me water skiing all underneath the boat. I mean, underneath the Coronado Bridge. He yanked me all the way over here, and then once I got over here, he made this super fast U-turn right here so that I could ride the ski and the wave into that beach. And then I would grab my skis, and I did it a few times. So I grabbed my skis, I'd run over to the dock over there and help him tie down the boat when he would park over there. Well, this one occasion, I told him, I went like this, speed up, speed up, speed up. I wanted him to go faster and faster and faster, because I wanted to come in full power. And especially when I got closer to the thing, I realized that there was these two really good looking girls right there on the beach, and I wanted to show off. So I told him to go faster. I came in, guns blazing. I was freaking flying into the beach. There had been a big wake that was right behind me, so I kind of surfed it in, and my skis went into the sand, and I fell so hard on my face in the sand. I ate so much sand, and I got hurt, but I stood up within a second because I was so embarrassed. You know when you fall and you just immediately get up because you're like, you don't want anybody to see it, and you stand up like, did anybody see? Did anybody see? Kind of like that. So anyways, it was an embarrassing moment of my life. Everybody laughed, and I grabbed my skis and I just walked over here, and I held my dad Doc, and he was making fun of me for days after that. But anyways, what do they say? 100 bad days make 100 good stories, right? So that was a good story. The ferry landing is one of my favorite spots to come to hang out. I love this place. You just go for a walk from the ferry landing all the way over there. Some pretty cool restaurants, and there's Peyo's. I'm honestly not a big fan of Peyo's, but they have good Wi-Fi, so sometimes I'll come work over here and just hang out. But you walk all the way to the Coronado Bridge from here, and then there's a golf course on the other side of the Coronado Bridge, so you can just kind of hang out over there. It's a beautiful walk with amazing scenery and amazing views. Pretty crazy because Coronado, the ferry landing, man, I've been coming here since I was 10 years old, right? So 30 years. Looks exactly the same, but it's immaculately maintained, but it's just exactly the same. Like, the colors are the same, the vibe is the same, the coffee shops are the same. Oh, they've changed ownership, obviously, you know, a few restaurants and stuff, but overall, it's kind of the same thing. That's a hotel. I think it's a Marriott. And then from the Marriott, you can rent out jet skis and kind of hang out. You see all these boats, all these little sailboats here? I'm gonna actually use my phone to show you. I think I need a camera with zoom or something to use for these videos. But anyways, you see all these boats right here? All of these that are just kind of chilling there. Over on that beach over there, which is right underneath the Coronado Bridge. I forget what the name of that park is called, but right there you'll see that there's a bunch of dinghies. And those those dinghies right there are the ones that these boats use to be able to get in and out of their boats. So they anchor up to these permanent, they anchor to permanent buoys, and then they use their little dinghy to get to shore, go shopping for groceries or whatever it is that they might need. But the crazy thing about it is most of these are homes. Most of these are used by people that live there. I'm not sure who manages that or how they pay a fee or how that works, but those are all, not all of them, some of them are just stored there, but a few of them are where people live. People live there, and like I said, they take the little dinghy, they go to the island and they shop for their groceries and whatever they need, and they come back. And they're operational. Sometimes they go out and they sail around and they come back and then they anchor there. And that's their permanent position. Years ago, many years ago, there was another over here which was like a junkyard of boats. Old, super old boats that were just floating around there, and one of them was built like an entire house. Like literally 2-story house built on top of some pontoon type things, and they were just sitting there for years. It was there. And then finally they got rid of it. Approaching the Coronado Bridge. And here is the perfect example of how us Mexicans say, así se hacen los chismes. It turns out that for the last 30 years, I've been telling everybody, because I was told this by my parents, that that part of the bridge, the darker blue, narrower part, is designed to float if in case there is an attack and the bridge falls into pieces into the water, so that all the military vessels that are over there can just simply push it out of the way and go out and go to war. It turns out that that's just chisme. That's not true. When I decided to make this video, I said I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I don't like doing research. I try to kind of wing it and based on what I know or whatever, but I think I need to do a little bit of research just to be a little bit more informative and not say stupid shit that isn't real, because it turns out it's all a lie. I don't know where it started, but not only my dad when I was younger, a few other people have told me this in the past, and they agree, and they're like, yeah, that thing floats. So I've told so many people that this part floats, and it's not true. It's just not true. The thing that is true about this is that in order for it to get from there, from that point to that point, they needed to make it curve, as you can see. Yeah. Instead of going straight shot, if they would have just gone from there to there, it could have been just a straight line. But because the distance was actually too short, it would have had too much of an incline up and too much of an incline down. They needed to make it curve so that it would be more progressive and not as steep on both the front part and everything. To make it high enough, they needed to make it high enough so that the boats could go in and out. That is true. So they needed to make it tall enough so that these military boats that are all over here could actually go underneath this massive, beautiful bridge. Look at that. Isn't that cool? We're literally underneath the Coronado Bridge. It's a really beautiful bridge. Look at that. Anyways, they needed to make it a certain height so that the military boats could go through it. And if they would have just made a straight line from one point to the other, they would have need to, like, the angle would have just been too far. So they made it curved, and it's cool because now it looks beautiful, right? It looks way better than just the normal straight line type of bridge. It's very iconic of San Diego, the Coronado Bridge. For years, we had to pay a toll to go through it. It was just $1 to go through the bridge. The other alternative was to go through Silver Strand. I forget what this marina is called, or what this area is called, but you get here from this side of, so there's a Coronado Bridge, and you kind of come inside over here, and you can see here on the opposite side of this is the ocean. It's open ocean. These buildings here are condo buildings, and I forget what the actual name of them is, but a lot of people know them as the Taco Towers because rumor says that there's a bunch of Mexicans that live there. So they've been known for a long time as the Taco Towers. And then over there, you have the Coronado Hotel, the famous Coronado Hotel, which they say is haunted. This whole section over here is part of the Navy SEAL training. I mean, they do normal Navy stuff, but also the Navy SEAL. The Navy SEAL training facility is right here. And then that way they can use both sides. So you'll see them, sometimes you'll see helicopters flying over here and tossing dudes over to dive from the helicopters into the water and then perform rescue missions. And then on the opposite side, because that's where the ocean is at and the waves hit harder and everything, is where they do all those trainings for like drowning, and they put them on the beach and have the waves just hit it. It's pretty brutal from what I've heard. There's a book that I really like called The Way of the SEAL, and it talks a lot about all the different training things that they would have them do. And they were all here. The guy that wrote the book ended up partnering up with somebody else and opening up a brewing company, beer company here in San Diego. I think it's Coronado Brewing. I'm not 100% sure, but one of those. And the author was part owner or something like that. Here we are approaching Silver Strand, and guess what? That's another chisme. A lot of people think that the entire Silver Strand was built by humans, that it's not natural, when in reality it actually is. So it turns out that even though Coronado is considered an island, I forget what this is called when they're still connected by a little tiny stretch of land, and they have improved it. They did add additional dirt and sand and made it a little bit more stable. They built a road, so it actually became a connection. This shit's been there since the 1800s. Silver Strand connects Imperial Beach all the way to Coronado. And then you have, obviously, the military base and the Navy SEALs and all that stuff. And then on the opposite side of this is the ocean. You can see there's like a massive boat over there. I don't know if you can see it from here. And then here, we were just over there. That's Point Loma. Point Loma is on the opposite side. We kind of just made around a circle into the bay. And this is Silver Strand. And on the other side, on the other side of this, you have Silver Strand State Beach. And you can go camping there. It's actually pretty neat. There's a really cool bike path all through Silver Strand. I mean, it's miles and miles long, so it's a perfect way to get from anywhere in South Bay, in South San Diego, all the way to Coronado. It's a really cool stretch. It's safe. It's completely separate from the road, which is a huge plus. It's 100% a bike path. Let's go fast. Let's go. Stupid thing asked me for a software update. It is at 91%. It's getting there. The drone is ready to go. Look, it says upgrading. I just want to take like one quick shot of the boat or something. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can't fly close to downtown, or I don't know, I'll try. I forget how to do this. Was it like the buttons down here? I thought it was like, oh, there it goes.
Take off.
Oh man, I'm nervous. There we go. Record. Oh, no SD card. Okay, come back. This is stupid. I gotta bring it back. Oh shit. Come here. Fine. Here, we'll do it over. Oh, fuck. Holy shit. That shit made me so nervous. I never put an SD card in here, so I couldn't record anything. And then the stupid thing would approach. Okay. I'll try that again another time when I have put an SD card in here and I have way more practice using this. I was so scared. I thought I was gonna lose the drone in the water. Okay, never mind that idea. Not today. Not today. This is the Coronado Lowe's Resort. It sits basically in the middle between Imperial Beach and Coronado, and right on Silver Strand, right next to Coronado Cays. It has its own marina. A lot of people do use this marina to store their boats, and they live here in San Diego. And also, a lot of people that come to San Diego on boat, they use this marina because they get all the same services that the hotel gets. So room service, access to all the bathrooms or whatever. They have a pretty cool setup. I mean, and that's most marinas, right? Most marinas have like their own bathroom, laundry facilities, things like that. And if they're attached to like a hotel like this one, or the Marriott over here in the Bay, which I'll take you over there in a little bit, it's the same thing. You dock your boat there, you pay a fee for there, but you have all of the resources from the hotel and all of the hotel services. Look at that beast. That house is massive. My dad knew the previous owner when it was old. Somebody bought it, tore it down, and built this brand new, super modern house. I mean, I have no idea how much it's worth, but it's probably worth somewhere around 30 million bucks. I have never seen one of those before. That is freaking weird. That thing. I had no idea these things were a deal. Hey. I'm gonna take you now. I mean, I could go through all the little embankments and all the little entrances, because there's like a bunch of little, like there's one over there, there's a few, and then they kind of go in and out or whatever. It's a bunch of little dead ends. But I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna show you what I think could be not my favorite house, because I think if it was for me, I would rather have a ton of land, right? Ton of space, have a few midget goats and dogs and maybe a horse. Like, I like that. So this house doesn't have that, just because you're limited in the amount of land that you can have here. But this house, whoever built it, they bought 2 properties, tore them down, and built this thing literally just like a year ago. They finished it. It is incredible. It has these crazy metal doors that come. I'll show you. Let me show you what I think might be one of my favorite sailboats. That thing is incredible. You know, you lose the proportion of the size that it is here with this video, but it's just so beautiful. The color, it's got like this like goldish tone to it. I literally took a picture of that thing and put it on my vision board. That exact same one. It's called Deo Volante. I'm not a big fan of the super modern, like, this one's cool, but that white one over there, just full of windows, you can see everything inside. I mean, it's cool that you get a lot of natural light, but I think it's a little too much. I think it's something that you'd get tired of pretty quickly. But I mean, you have every style home here. You have like farmhouse style, you know, old, I forget the names. I'm a realtor and I forget all these things. Ask me about cars though. I know a lot about cars. But see, what's cool about this is they all have their docks, which is so cool to me. You know, you come out of your house and jump into your boat and go cruise around. A lot of them have like these little jet ski things to hold to bring up their jet skis. Look at this freaking property. I have a picture of this thing on my vision board too. I've always thought that if I had like millions and millions of dollars, I'd buy a house like this, but for my parents. I'd have my boat here at my parents' house, have my house with a big yard, and the dogs and the midget goats and all that stuff. But look at this property. Look at this freaking thing. I mean, it is just incredible. It's so beautiful. I think it's just so elegant, so nice. It's a year old. It has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fireplaces, which is wild. I mean, it is just incredible property. Most of the properties here don't have their own private pools. You know, it's like very rare that you have a home. Oh, that was a little close. Because they just don't have the land, right? They don't have the space to have their own private pool, but that one does. That has their own private little pool and jacuzzi, which is freaking awesome. Look at that thing. These metal curtains drop down and seals off every window, making it super secure and super private. Like you can literally shut down everything with metal gates. Anyways, that's my favorite house in the Cays. Maybe one of my favorite houses I've ever seen. I think it's super cool. All right, we have made it all the way down to Chula Vista. This is pretty far south in the bay. You really can't go much more. Over there are some salt thingies. I mean, I don't know what you call them, but salt mining, I guess. But basically they get salt out of the ocean and they have these big mountains of salt and then they sell it. But this is the newest addition to San Diego, basically. This is the Gaylord Resort. I think it's called Gaylord something, but it's the Gaylord Resort. It's brand spanking new. Literally just opened about, I don't know, a month ago. They had like a big job fair going on to bring in people and hire people for the convention center. Gaylord Pacific, it's called. That's what it says right there, I think. Anyways, this is the newest thing. This is going to be a big deal for Chula Vista because they're going to expand the convention center. They're putting some other things. Nice park. The RV park here, by the way, they built a really beautiful RV park. It's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen, and I went around the entire US in an RV looking at RV parks, so I know what I'm talking about. It's really nice. The resort itself, I haven't been there yet, so I can't really share much about it. All I know is that it just opened, and the entire community, all of West Chula Vista, what it would be from like F Street to like L or J. This is J Street, the J Street Marina. So that whole area that's going to be close to this area because of all the jobs that this is creating and all of the conventions that are going to be going on here. I think that it's going to be a big deal for the real estate market, particularly, and businesses in the area, because as conventions come in, there's going to be people wanting to hang out in this area, stay overnight here, and go explore this area, not necessarily all the way to downtown. So I think it's going to be a big deal. It's pretty cool. I mean, the resort looks beautiful, and from my understanding, it's legit. It's really nice. So there you have it, folks. The Gaylord Pacific Chula Vista. And then over there is the J Street Marina. A lot of people go there to park and make out in that parking lot. Now you know. Bro, dude, I don't understand why they don't think, why do they get so close? Yeah, the guy's telling her, like, don't get so close to this guy. Like, you're behind me, you see where I'm at, stay the away. Oh shit. Oh, woo! Yeah! Yeah, that was a nice that was a nice jump.
Recently, we took it to Colorado.
Yeah. Oh man, they almost fell. They almost They almost fell. That was funny. Let's see if I can get let's make a good thumbnail. Come on. Good thumbnail with the bridge right here from the front. There you go. All right, folks, here we have the amazing convention center. That's the Hilton. Over there, those are the Emerald Towers, I think they're called. That's the Marriott, that's the Hyatt. Not too long ago, just about a month ago or so ago, there was a boat here, docked here, that took up almost the entire thing. It was massive. And it was a boat that had been confiscated from a Russian oligarch through, I don't know, I guess through sanctions or whatever from what was going on with the Russia-Ukraine war. And they took the boat away from this dude, and it was a $350 million yacht, and they put it here, but it was costing the country like $7 million a year just to maintain it, just to keep it around. So I don't know what they did to it. But anyways, this is the newest addition. Oh, right here is Petco Park. I was literally there last night watching a game with some friends. People fish here, so you got to be careful when you're on a boat. You really want to watch out and not get too close and then get a freaking hook on your cheek right here. It's never happened to me, but I want it to happen to me. But sport fishing, I've always thought that it was really weird. You know, you don't want to eat the fish. You just want to make it late for something. That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. My favorite comedian ever, king of the one-liners. And that's called The Shell. They do some pretty cool concerts there. And whenever there's a concert going on, you can come in here. And if you have a boat, you can you can anchor here and watch the concerts for free. And there's something going on over here, I guess. Let's go check it out. This is the beautiful city of San Diego. There seems to be like some sort of a mini concert. There's like a cutout of a guy with a sombrero, with a hat. For the life of me, I can't make sense of whatever is going on there. It seems to be like some sort of like a little music festival or something, like a tiny music festival. This is one of my favorite places in San Diego, Seaport Village. When I was little, when we came to live in the United States, when I was about 8 years old, we would come here and walk. We were broke completely, and we would walk all this area. My dad would always tell us, like, one day we're gonna own a yacht, one day we're gonna own a yacht, one day we're gonna own a boat like that. And eventually we did. And it was a lot of maintenance. It ended up becoming more of a problem. Sold that and ended up buying a boat similar to this one. And we use that all the time. It was a lot easier to maintain and not have it docked, and you would have to pay for somebody to, you know, maintain it and everything. So every time we'd want to use it, something would break on it. So it was kind of a problem. But hey, we accomplished the goal of having a yacht. Not too long ago, they approved this massive bill. I think it's like $3.6 billion that's gonna go into improving all of Seaport Village. Not that it really needs anything. I honestly think it's really nice. It has a lot of really cool, it's really charming. I guess that's a word. But they're putting $3.6 billion into improving and adding more parks and additional restaurants and I don't know what else, but they're expanding it. I think they're also going to be expanding the convention center. And over here you have the fish market and top of the market. So that restaurant, same place, basically the same food, same kitchen, but if you want to have a more elegant, you know, experience, you go to top of the market. If you want to just have something more casual, the fish market is cool. And over here we have the Midway. The USS Midway. For a long time, that thing went to war multiple times. And now it is a museum, which I've never been to. But my middle son went there on a field trip. And when he was little, we called him El Vomitón. because he would always throw up. Vomito is throw up. He would always throw up. And sure enough, he came on a field trip to the USS Midway and threw up in there. And then I forget what this is called, but this is pretty iconic, right, for San Diego. People always be taking their pictures there, holding their significant other, giving a big smooch. I've never done that. First, I need to find somebody to do it with. Single life is rough. I'm gonna take you someplace where very few people have ever been able to go before. Very few. Here you have it, folks. Something that not many people get to do. You're cruising underneath the platforms of the USS Midway. We are completely under them. Isn't that cool? I don't know why I find it so cool to do this, but every time I come out here, I get to go underneath the Midway. Look at that. There you go. Downtown San Diego. This here is the Broadway Pier. This is where all of the different cruise lines come in. It's either the Port of San Diego Pier over there or the Broadway Pier. Usually it's the Broadway Pier. But there's really San Diego doesn't have a whole lot of big cruises coming out of here. And I think it's mostly because we don't have a whole bunch of places to go to from here. Like they go to south towards like La Paz or things like that in Mexico. But there's really not much more that they do. Out of Florida, there's a bunch more. But it turns out that boat that I was telling you about that was docked over there at the other pier, the Russian oligarch one, was moved. It's over here now. Look at that. This is the one I was telling you about. It's worth like $350 million. And the US government took it away from some Russian dude as like a punishment for supporting the war between Russia and Ukraine. That's my understanding. That's what I researched. You know how I found that out? I took a picture and I put it on AI and I said, whose boat is this? I wanted to figure it out. My battery died on my phone, so I don't know who that one belongs to, but we'll figure it out. Or if somebody knows, they can tell me in the comments. But that's another incredible yacht. And see, these are private. Not too long ago, Mark Zuckerberg was here in San Diego and he brought his yacht. And Mark's yacht, the Facebook yacht, is actually bigger than this one. Look at that thing, it's so modern. Believe it or not, this thing is about half, maybe not half the size, but it's a lot smaller than Mark Zuckerberg's. Oh, there go the idiots and the jet skis again. Yeah, this yacht's pretty freaking cool. Ave a la verga. I love her. That place is called Ketch, K-E-T-C-H. And they have really good fish and chips. I'm not really even a big fan of fish and chips, but their fish and chips are pretty damn legit. And there's a bunch of other restaurants. I think Miguel's Cocina and Brigantine is there. Damn it. Now I'm thinking about fish and chips. So yeah, that's the Portside Pier. This is newer. It used to be Anthony's Fish Grotto and some other thing, and now it's just a combination, I think 3 or 4 restaurants all built up and they kind of all attached to each other. And over here we have the Star of India. The Star of India, it's my understanding, I need to do a little bit more research on this, but if I remember correctly, it's the oldest still sailing sailboat in the world. Like there is no other boat older than the Star of India that still goes out and sails. And I think they take it out twice a year, I think. They say that it's haunted because I guess at one point a 14-year-old boy fell off the boat, drowned and died, and they brought him back in. And and now they say that people have like seen him or seen spirits or hear things, and the rumor is, or the story or the legend or the whatever you want to call it, is that the ghost of that little boy is still in there. Well, damn. There is another boat that I've never seen before. And I don't know if this is commercial. It's called Hodor. Hodor. Like Game of Thrones Hodor. It even has the same font. And it is some sort of a giant catamaran. It's freaking crazy looking. Look at that. The big ass horns that it has in the front. Or is that private? I need to research this. I've never seen this boat before. Look, you can see clear through it. Maybe the idiots with the jet skis could go through it. Hodor. Hodor. I don't know anything about these guys, but these are all little museums. Berkeley. It's the Maritime Museum of San Diego. They have a bunch of little boats, and that includes the Star of India. And then over here, that whole area is the San Diego International Airport. You get to see planes flying in. Sometimes you feel like they're gonna go right through the buildings, man. It's freaking crazy looking. There's a really cool spot over there that you can park, and just the planes are so close to you. All right, there comes a plane. Look at that. There you have it, folks. San Diego. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I've lived here for such a long time, but it truly is a special place. It's a beautiful, beautiful city. And you have everything you could possibly want.